Anjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmitam yena Tasmai Shri-Gurave Namaha Vandeham Sri-Guru Sri-Yutapada-kamalam Sri-Gurum Vaishnavanscha Sri-Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana-Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Harijan Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindha Dinabandha Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayine Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvashe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakham Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditaratas Charthesu bhigyaswarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye Muyanti Yat Suraya Tejo Varim Vidam Yatha Vinimaya Yatra Trisargo Drisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirastapurkam Satyam Param Dhimahi Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Swasti Astu Vishwasya Khalah Prasidatam Dhyayantu Bhutani Shivam Mithodhiya Manasya Bhadram Bhajatada Dokshajay Avishyatam Nomatirapyahitupi Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 14, verse number 8. So we read the question of Parikshit, where he asked question to Sri Sukadeva Goswami that how is Viprasura could be such a great devotee of the Lord, although he had an asuric body. And we read a nice commentary by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur where he analyzed the three types of Gyanis. Those who are called Keval Gyanis or who look after Gyan and have no interest in devotion, and those Gyanis who think that Lord's body is material, and those Gyanis who accept Lord's form as transcendental. It is only the third type who can attain Brahma Sayuja. And if these people get association with the Lord's devotees, then it is possible for them to get even Bhakti, depending on the type of association they have. So now Sukadeva Goswami begins replying, and will tell the story of Chitraketu. So first sutra was only Sutra Vach. Parikshitor Samprashnam Bhagavan Badarayanihi Samya Sraddhadhanasya Pratinadeva Chobravit. So after hearing the question of Parikshit, Sukadeva Goswami, he greeted him, he raised his question, and then he spoke as follows. So Sri Shuka Vacha, Sukadeva said, so let's telling the story now. Sunu Shwavahito Rajan Itihasam Imam Yatha Sutam Dvaipayana Mukhan Narada Devanadati. He said that, please, O king, listen to me with great attention. This old history, which I heard from my father Dvaipayana and also from Narada and says Deval. So he is going to recite the history of Uttarasaran in his past life, and to make it sure that he understands or does not have any doubt about it, he said that he has heard it from Dvaipayana and also from Narada and Deva. And you can also hear the same from him. So it appears that this history was very popular and important, because if he heard it from his father, he heard it from Narada, he heard it from Devala, and he was only supposed to be 16-year-old, and he is not living with Narada or Devala, so there must be some great importance behind this story that he heard it from three personalities. So therefore it says that you hear this carefully. So many times speakers, they have this habit of saying, "Do you understand? Do you understand? Have you heard it? Are you listening?" Right? So Sukadeva also is saying this here, that Suno Shu Avahito Rajan. Otherwise, what is the need of saying it? He's hearing with rapt attention, he has asked the questions, and naturally he is going to hear the answer. If Sukadeva was telling something by himself, then maybe he will not pay attention. But if he asks a question, then naturally you pay attention. But still he is saying pay attention. So either it means that this, what he is going to say is very important, and therefore he is warning or making him alert, or it means just a habit. Saying, listen carefully. So there are no commentaries on this. Says Asid Raja Sarvama Surshena Suvainripa Chitraketu Riti Kyato Yasyasid Kamadhumahi. So he says that in the land of Surshena, this is the area which is called Surshena, this is whole Mathura district, and up to all Gujarat area, this is called Surshena. So he says that there was a king who ruled here, and he was Sarvabhauma, he was ruling all around. Sarvabhauma literally means who ruled all over the earth. Bhumi means land. But even if he did not rule all over the land, means he ruled on a big territory. And his name was Chitraketu. So Chitra means something wonderful. That is called Chitra. Chitra also means painting. Painting is called Chitra because Chitra means something which is surprising or amazing. Because painting is actually in two dimensions, but it looks three dimensional. That's why it is called Chitra in Sanskrit. Photo, called Chaya Chitra. So, but really the word Chitra means that which is surprising. So his name was Chitraketu because he is surprising fellow. So first thing is that he was a very pious king and very religious, so much that Kamadhu Mahi, that the earth was supplying all the needs, whatever was necessary, then earth was given. So when earth is happy, because we have spoken this many times, and I don't need to repeat it, that earth is also a living being. Earth is not dead matter, it also has life. And when she is happy, then she gives the requirements. So earth, one of the names for earth is Ratna Garbha. Ratna means gems and Garbha means womb. There are many gems in the womb of earth, because most of the metals, gold, silver, diamond, all these things come from earth. And then she also supplies the food and cloth and other requirements, they come from earth. So therefore she is called here as Kamanuk. Means Kama means desire, means to you can milk. That which gives you milk in the form of fulfilling your desires. So that's why sometimes she is depicted in the form of a cow giving milk. And when she is not happy, then she hides all the material. And in the story of Prithu, we read that Prithu Maharaj was angry with earth because she has hidden all the seeds and people were starving. So here she is described that state. So now tasya bharya sahasranam sahasrani dasha bhavan santanikas chapi mrito navidheta susantati. So he had many wives, 1,000, 10,000. So which means like 1 billion or 0.1 billion. Anyway, it doesn't make a difference. So he had like 10 million, 100 million wives. So that's why Chitraketu. And did not have a single baby. Because he married one wife and she turned out to be barren. So she did not bear any child to him. Then he married another one, then another one, then another one. And he kept on marrying, and because of his fortune, either the wives were becoming barren after he was marrying them, or they were already dead. But in any case, no children. So of course, when you think of someone having 100 million wives, this is unbelievable. Even if you have a lot of faith in Shastra, it's unbelievable that someone can have 100 million wives. Because even if you marry every day, that means 365 wives in 1 year. In 10 years, 3,650, 108, no, right? 3,600. So then, like 36,000 wives, 37,000. So how can he have that many wives? So sometimes when the numbers are given like this, they don't have to be taken literally. All it means is that he had many wives. More than anyone else. More than what you can think of. He had that many wives. Because people used to have few hundred wives and things in the past. In this Nizam of Hyderabad, I don't know, he had like 80 wives or something. This was just in last century. So the word Sahasra, sometimes when they use the word Sahasra, 1,000 or Ayuta, 10,000 or Koti, which means 100 million, that does not really mean that much. 1,000 may actually mean 10. This is a poetic way of saying things. So there is one type of alankara. Alankara means embellishment, poetic embellishment. So that is called atishayokti. Alankara means the embellishment of exaggeration, where the poet exaggerates so that you feel a little surprised and you wake up, you're sleeping. Pay attention, really, that means how is that possible? At least you start thinking, right? Otherwise, it may become monotonous. So sometimes poets, they use these techniques to make you alert, make you think. This is one of the purposes, or to make it look very interesting. So that's how it has to be taken. So Bharya Sahasranam Das Sahasrani Koti Vidyartha. So it's not Chakravarti says that in Koti. And Santanika, Santan Priyajanaka, Na Kevalam Vishay Bhogarthameva Tavatya Bhara. So the word is used here that why did he marry? It says to get a child, not to enjoy. This is the important point. He was not marrying because he wants to enjoy a relationship with someone. His interest was only to get a son, which in Varnashram system was very important, to get a son so that he can continue the parampara and continue the family tradition, continue the Shraddha ceremony, which is also a very important part of Varnashram. So this was the reason. In the Smriti Shastra, there is a lot written about having a son. If one does not have a son, then what are the implications of that? So all this is described. So that's why you see the many stories like that. They get worried if you don't have son. Even Dasa was worried because he did not have a son for a long time. When we read Mahabharata story that Chitraketu, this Vichitramda and Vichitravirya, these two sons of Shantanu, they married this Ambika and Ambalika, and they died both without producing a child. The mother has to call Vyasdev to produce children. That's how Pandu and Dhritarashtra were born in Vidura. So that means it was considered as very important to have a child. Otherwise they could have just used someone else to give the throne. And then they cannot continue much longer. So Rup Audharya Vayo Janma Vidya Shvage Shriyadini Sampanna Sugunai Sarve Chinta Vandhya Pateram. So he was beautiful, he was generous, he was young and had a good birth, he was educated and had opulence and power. So in any way he was a very qualified person. But still he was full of anxiety because he was the husband of barren woman. So this is what is to be seen, that if one is not a devotee, then there will always be something which will bother that person. Everybody in this material world has something which is bothering them. Sometimes you see what you don't have and you see another person and think, oh, this person has it, he must be happy. But that person will have some other bothers. And he may be thinking that you are happy because you have what he wants. So he may be looking some poor guy who is not educated, who may be not very beautiful and may not have wealth, and they may have children playing. He will think that he is happy, what is the use, I am not happy. But that guy will look at him, look at this king, he is young, he is beautiful, he is knowledgeable, he has wealth, he has power, he has people around him, he must be happy. But he is not. So, aputrasya grahasunya. If you don't have child in the house, then the house is considered as empty. Not now in the modern times, but in Vedic culture, if you have a house, you have a wife and there are no kids in the house, then that is not a house. So the pleasure of house is that you have a nice wife and bharya chapriyavadam, and you have a child, you have sons who are obedient. So that is considered as happiness, material happiness. So he did not have this, king did not have this. And like that in the material world, people are missing something in their life. Now of course, many people who don't want to have children. So they have some other chinta, they have some other anxiety, some other worry, some other thing which is troubling them. So bandhyapateriti sarvastha bandhya devi yogena milita bhav. So he is called here as bandhyapati. Pati means husband and bandhya means barren woman who cannot conceive. So although he had this, but he was not happy, and somehow by his misfortune every wife he got was like that. And then that is surprising. That every wife you get and she cannot conceive. This is very surprising. You have one wife or maybe two and they both are not able to conceive, that we can understand. But to have so many wives, none of them can conceive. This is very unusual. So then what happened? Now his good fortune came. Sometimes misfortune leads to good fortune. Sometimes which we consider as something misfortune, undesirable, unwanted, that actually may be the cause of our good fortune. And we should try to search fortune in everything. We should make it as a habit to look for fortune. So whenever there is some trouble is coming, don't become depressed. think that maybe some grace is coming through this problem. So just because he did not have a son, he got the grace. Or it became one of the cause, because Tatregada Tasvegadapu Bhavanam Angira Bhagavan Rishi Lokanucharan Etan Upagachet. So one day, the great powerful sage Angira, he came to his palace because he is Lokan Anuchar, while wandering here and there. And this happened Yadricha. So this word Yadricha is a very special word which is used here in Bhagavatam, and it is specifically used for Sadhu Sangha. That the Sadhu Sangha comes not because of any pious deed, but happens without any cause. So there was no reason for Angira to come there, but he came, and this was the opening for Chitraketu to receive the grace of God. So what he said, he says, Maharshistam upasinam prashraya avanatam shutau pratipujya maharaja samabhashyati damata. So when this great sage came there, then he worshipped him. He gave him a nice seat, he gave him Arghya, Padya, Ashmadhi, all this, receiving a guest in the culture. So he received him very nicely. And then the sage Angira, he spoke as follows. And here it is described that the king was very humble. Prashraya avanatam, he bowed down to him. And Prashraya means with great humility. And when he saw him very humble, then the sage, he spoke. So Angira said, Api tenavayam swasti prakritinam pathatmana tatha prakriti bhutta puman rajati saptadhi. So he asked him a question that, O king, are you happy? Api tenavayam swasti. Are you healthy? Anavayam means no disease, no sickness. And he said, is everything auspicious for you? Swasti. And Prakriti Nam Tatha, and also about your Prakriti. So Prakriti, which means material nature, is also used for these 7 things: the teacher, the counselors, the kingdom, the fort, the treasury, the army, and the friends of the king. These are all called Prakriti. So he asked that, are you happy along with your Prakriti? Means your relatives, your seniors, your people, your subjects, are they all doing well, and your treasury is full, and you are healthy. So, and then he gave an example. He said, just like a living being is covered by the 7 coverings, is covering of earth, water, fire, air, ether, and mind, and Mahtattva. So like that king is also covered by 7 things, which includes his court, treasury, counselors, relatives, friends, teachers, and army. So he says that, are you happy? Api kim anamayam arogyam. So first, are you healthy? Swasti subham, all auspiciousness to you. Prakriti nam, amatyadi nam. So the ministers, etc., they all functioning under your control. Ragya sukham. So this is what means the happiness of the king. Amatyadi sukhadina mere. So the happiness of the king is under the happiness of his ministers. If ministers are not happy with him, they get great trouble. And amatyadi sukhamapi raja sukhadina. And the ministers are happy if the king is happy. They work for him. And he takes care of them when he is happy. So then it says, Sadrishtanta Bhayatha Mahadadibhi Prakriti bhi Satbhi Puman Jiva Nityam Gupta Bhavati. So the Jiva, living being, is always protected and covered. The word Gupta has both meanings. Gupta means protected, Gupta means hidden. Natu tadvatirikena kshanamapi tishtati tatha raja. So a living being cannot live without this. So the king is also Swami Amatya Spurit Kosha Rashtra Durga Balai. So these are the coverings of the king. Swami, master, Amatya, minister, Spurit, friends, Kosh, is treasury, Rashtra, is the kingdom, Durga is the fort. Every king used to live in a fort. And Balai means the strength, this means the army strength. So this protects him. Atmanam prakriti shvardha nidhaya shreya apnuyat ragya tatha prakriti yo nardeva hitadhaya. So he said, just like the living entity keeps himself in the coverings, in the same way the king can enjoy his kingdom when all these prakritis are favorable to him. And these prakritis also can function properly when king is taking care of them. Whether it is the army, whether it is the subjects, or the teachers, or the relatives. So basically they are all interdependent. So if they are in cooperation with each other, then everybody prospers. People also prosper, the king is happy. Api dara prajamatya bhritya srinyo mantrana kona janapada upatmada vasaratina. So now he is making it more clear that all your queens, your people, your counselors, your servants, and the businessmen in your kingdom, and the ministers, and the residents of the country, and other smaller kings who are under your control, and your children, are they all functioning properly and all under your control? Simple question. Raja Atmanam Swaprakritisu Nidhaya Atma Sarvabhavam Shikya. So the king has to depend on his servants, his army, his ministers, and then he can live. Shreya Rajastham Nardeva Rajaniya Vahita Rapita. And similarly, the happiness of people depends on king. Adhi Dhanaturava Asti Adi Krishna Mula Manapida Yeste Ragya Gupta Dhaya Nardeva Nashita Manodukha Shreya. So all the problems are taken care by the king when he is happy. And kincha ragyopi yadi agya karena sarva janasyu tadeva sukham ityahati. And when everybody is following the king, then he can be happy. So basically both have to cooperate with each other. Subjects have to be faithful, obedient, and favorable to the king, and king also has to work for the welfare of people, not just for his own happiness. Shreyas Talik Tambulati. The word Shreni here refers to various types of craftsmen, like those who sell oil, who sell tambul, palm. So now we have Yasya Atmanuvashocheta Sat Sarve Tadvasagaine Loka Sapale Chinti Sarve Brahmatamita. And now he gives the formula. He says that the real thing is this, that one who has control over his own mind, then he can control all these others. So the problem at present is that those who are in power, they don't have control over themselves. And therefore, they cannot control those who are working under them. Previously, the kings were also very well controlled, Jitendriyas. And then people respected them much more. They listened to them. So these kings, their words had power. Now no one cares. Yes, for this thing. There are so many leaders, and then you approach the leaders only when they can help you in some work. Otherwise, nobody bothers. So this is because the leaders themselves are not self-controlled. So this is the first quality of a leader. Whether he is a leader of the state, or he is the teacher, or he is leader in the army, or he is the head of the family, whoever has any leading position, he or she can function properly only when he or she is controlled. Has controlled mind, controlled senses. Otherwise it's not possible. So then only people who are obedient to their parents, to the teachers, to the king, they are ready to do anything. Now no one listens to anybody. Because nobody is self-controlled. Self-controlled is the last thing to think about, if at all. Now you think how not to control. So this is a very big difference. So tam mana yasva vasam nava ityarthat pruchati yasi. So is your mind under your control or not? Because if your mind is not under your control, then you cannot be happy. So abhav asantasya kudha kutasya na bhaveta shanti asantasya it has become. So one who is unaware, who does not have control over the mind, there is no happiness for such a person. Atmanaha priyate natma partha swate bhava lakshaye labdha kamam chintaya sarvam. He says that I see that your mind is not happy. I feel that you are not satisfied with yourself. And Parkasvata eva, there is something which is lacking in you, because I see Lakshate Labdha Kamam, I see that some of your desire is not fulfilled. And therefore, I can see the sign of worry on your face. So what is the cause of this dissatisfaction? Is it caused by someone else, or is it you yourself? But sometimes the worry may be coming because somebody is creating trouble for you. Somebody does not like you. Or it may be because you yourself are acting in some way which is giving you problem. So he asks me, Na Atmana Priyate, that your mind is not happy with yourself, you are not happy with yourself. And Alabdha Kamam Lakshaya, I see that your kamana, your desire is not satisfied. And in it purpose, whatever, and therefore I see you worry. So Tadapiya Brahmanam Rajanam Punaraha. So when he was asking the king that how your army, how your treasury, how your relatives, your wife, your children, the king was sitting quietly and just looking at him. So when the sage saw him, then he speaks this verse that I see that there is some dissatisfaction in your mind. Tavatmano dehasya atma swateva pateva hitarvana priyate sukhameva asmiti chair nahi ityana. So I say that I see that you are not satisfied because of some reason, whether the reason is you yourself or someone else. And if the king says, no, I am happy, many times you say to somebody, you look disturbed, and you say, no, everything is okay. Although there may be some disturbance, but you don't want to speak your disturbance to everybody. So if the king says that no, everything is fine, he says no, the sage said, but I see some anxiety on your face. And face is considered as the index of the mind. Because your facial expressions, they change according to the state of the mind. When you are sleepy, your face looks different. Right? So you can see from the face. So he said that you are saying you are happy, but I don't perceive you like that. So what is the trouble? So evam vikalpito rajan vidusha munina apisa prashyavanato aha vijatam tato. So when he was asked like this by the sage who was learned, then with great humility he again bowed down, and the king who was desiring to have a son, he spoke to the sage as follows. So it was like the sage has pressed that point where it was hurting. So sometimes those people who do this acupressure, they are very good at catching your point where there is pain, and that's where they press. So like that the sage, he pressed the right button. And he asked him that, where is it penning? Is it penning here? Is it penning there? He said, no, I'm okay. I have no pain. He said, but I see it. So then he explains to him, Prachato Bhagavato Hemagyakari. So when he was asked, like a surrendered person, he speaks. And he speaks in the cause of his worry, which was in his mind. So that's what he is going to speak from the next one, the next verse onwards, which we will read the day after tomorrow, because tomorrow there is no class. So we'll stop here if there is any question.
You were saying that we should become skilled, in seeing the good, even in troubling situations. It seems that it requires either, some far-reaching vision, or at least the ability to suspend the immediate appearance of things in order to do that.
Say it again.
I'm saying that, when some troubling situation arises, it's not so easy to, see the good in it. It would seem to require a far-reaching vision.
No, it does not mean that we don't solve the problem. We should not become depressed. Because generally what happens that when some difficulty comes, then people become depressed. They think, oh, I'm so unfortunate. And this trouble is coming to me. And instead of finding a solution or doing what it is needed to be done, then we get into this negative thing. So what I am saying is that it's not that when trouble is there, I don't have to do what is necessary to be done. But instead of thinking that it is my misfortune, you can think that maybe there is a good fortune. And that's what Kunti Devi is saying. There's all these so-called misfortunes. They were fortune for me. For she prays with Dasa Antuna Shashwata Jagat Guru. Let there be this misfortune. He is using the word misfortune only. He said, let the misfortune come to me. Because behind the misfortune I see the fortune of seeing you. So that's what I mean. So there are some people who are always crying about something. Some people are hypochondriac. They are always crying about their health. So we should have a little positive attitude that something good is coming from this also. Although this is troublesome and I don't like it, but something good is coming in this also. Like for the king, he did not have a son, he had so many wives, and still there was no son. So much good came from that. Right? So this is what I mean. So if he did not have if he had a son, then okay, Angira will say, how are you? Okay, everything is alright. Kingdom is running nicely. Where are you, Maharaj? So then no problem. And Angira is also not going to do anything special for him. So Angira did something special. Knowingly. He knew it. That the only test is when he will have this and it will be taken away and he will be completely angry. He will be in grief. And that grief will become, that is the Vishada Yoga. That's how Bhagavad Gita begins. So in that Vishada, in that grief, he will have yoga. So no one likes grief. But sometimes grief actually turns out to be good. And it happens to Chitraketu, it happens to Arjuna, to many other people. And many people who, so many women, they become widow and they are very young. Of course, these days people remarry and all that. In older time, they will just take to bhajan, like many widows are here in Vrindavan. So many people pity at them and they are saying they are so unfortunate and this and that. But there is another side. They are living in Vrindavan and they are doing bhajan, which many of these rich people who are having compassion on them, they don't have that opportunity and they will never do this. So, if you see from a spiritual point of view, then this grief is good. Because they live here in the holy place, holy dham, they get the chance to hear katha. They are doing their bhajan, even if they are materially in a miserable situation. What is the use of being in a material comfort if you cannot chant the name of God, meditate, if you cannot hear Krishna Katha? So, this material world is compared to like a poisonous tree. So, samsara vishvriksha dveva rasvat phale is a vishvriksha. And there are only two nice things, that Katha Amrita Rasa Swada, Sangati, Sajjana. You can have the chance to hear Katha of the Lord and Sadhu Sangha. So they are having both of this.
So Angita detected some grief in him.
Yeah, that's why I said that I see Chinta Shablam, I see your face is full of anxiety.
But then he decided to take an action that would increase that grief to a feverish pitch.
Because when we have little grief, we tolerate it. And we don't take good action. When grief becomes too much, like sometimes you have a small little disease, you say, okay, come go. When heavy disease comes, then you realize that actually there is something serious wrong with me. And I have to do something about my health. I will not eat sweets anymore. So then you actually take, which is good, and then you actually take care of your health very nicely. Otherwise, if you neglect it, then it will go on increasing, and you actually fall into big trouble that you can't repair your health. So there are always some sides to everything.
I have two questions. Number one, I was just gone to the Krishna Mandir. I had the Radha Raman Maharaj, and he was telling me that there was one devotee from South India that he was having this question to him that this Kanchal, which is Lakshmi, Kanchal, can we do the Abhishek with that Kanchal to like Sadhu, Guru or Santa, because so many places they are doing. So this man, he left because he said this should not be to, this is one which should do only Thakurji, but not in human body. Please ask this question to Maharaj because I am also confused. So, he was not feeling very well, otherwise he would come to me. He said,
well, it depends. You see, in Shastra, when you follow Dharma Shastra, then there are certain restrictions, certain rules which have to be followed. So if you treat this Dakshinavati common child, Lakshmi, you cannot use this for anything big. But Lakshmi is only for Narayan. So we have to consider those things.
Second question is, this Chitraketu king was very self-realized and everything, special, and then why he is having grief?
But he was not self-realized. If he would have been self-realized, then he would not be in grief. That's the symptom. That's what Krishna says, Asochanam Sochastam Pragyavana Sabhasya. You are talking like a self-realized person, but you are in grief. So these two things cannot happen together. If you are self-realized, then you are in grief. It says, Gatasum Gatasum Chananusosam Pandita. You realize, learn, they don't have grief for anything. Living or dead. Okay. So I want to introduce you to Maharaj, some person. That's Maharaji from Banaras. And he is the man of Satyanarayana ashram there. He looks young, but he is very learned and powerful person. So we welcome him here. It's unfortunate that he has come and is staying with us for 3 days. So if you have any question about Banaras, you can answer. कुछ बोलेंगे दोस्तों महाराज?
आप बोल रहे हैं पूछे तो हम बोल देंगे बनारस।
I have one question. They say that like if you die in Banaras,
हिंदी में बोले तो हम
अच्छा कहते हैं कि बनारस में मतलब शरीर त्यागने से जो है उनको भागवत धाम प्राप्त होता है, तो ये सत्य है और क्या है?
मैं अंग्रेजी में अनुवाद कर देता हूँ क्योंकि प्रश्न समझ नहीं आ रहा। He is asking that it is said that if you die in Banaras, then you attain a abode of the Lord, you become liberated. So, is it a fact?
धर्म शास्त्र के अनुसार काशी मोक्ष नगरी, लेकिन व्यक्ति को मोक्ष तो हर जगह भी मिल सकता है। एक तरफ हमारा शास्त्र भी कह सकता है, लेकिन वो उस स्तर तक पहुंच जाना चाहिए। हमारे महापुरुष लोग जहाँ भी कहते थे वो कहते थे अज्ञानियों के लिए ये धारणा है। जो हम लोग भगवान के शरणागत हो गए, जिनको भगवान पर पूर्ण भरोसा है, उनके लिए तो काशी हर जगह है। ये तो एक धर्म शास्त्र के उससे जी।
So he is answering that Kashi, Banaras, Kashi is another name for Banaras. So it is the city of liberation called Moksha Nagari. But he says that those people who are qualified, who have taken shelter of the Lord, for them there is Kashi everywhere. And it is described in the Dharma Shastra that to have liberation, to obtain Lord, you need certain qualifications, some knowledge, some realization is necessary. So that is what the Shastra says.
जब आदि शंकराचार्य जी को भगवान के दर्शन करना था, तो उन्होंने मणिकर्णिका क्षेत्र में तपस्या की और वहाँ नित्य आराधना की। इसी दौरान जब उनको भगवान शिव ने उनकी परीक्षा ली, तो शिव जी ने चंडाल का विष बनाया। महाराज श्री ज्ञान है आप, उन्होंने मनीषा पंचकम का रचना की। मनीषा पंचकम तो आदि शंकराचार्य जी नहा के जा रहे थे और शंकर जी चंडाल का भेष बना के झाड़ू लगा रहे। तो शंकराचार्य जी ने उनसे टच हुए चंडाल से, तो शंकराचार्य जी गुस्साने लगे उनसे, कहे तो चंडाल